Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Friday, July 7th, 2023. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Friday, everyone. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. Right now, we had the NFP report come out in the previous hour. NFP came in lighter than expected, and one of the lightest numbers we've had in a while. Just 200K jobs here added. And what you see is an early push to the upside that was immediately rejected, and then an impulsive drop downward occurred with a little bit of a bounce back. But so far, the early push has been to the upside, and so far, it has left behind a relatively strong intraday rejection in the 60-minute chart. That also occurring right at or just above the previous session's midpoint, in a down moving market here for the week. So does this lead to additional weakness up ahead? Perhaps so. I would say later on in the day, or perhaps even into next week, if price is able to push through this pivot high, that opens up some upside up ahead. For right now, throwing off a pretty solid rejection, one of many here this week for these markets, at least on the lower time frames, and that could lead to a bit more pullback here to begin the month. Keep in mind, we have seen higher value relationships, an uptrending market, bullish Pima trigger zone. So this pullback could still find a strong rejection on the low and see another bounce. But until then, until we see a strong low, this market could be in a downward price discovery phase, seeking a strong low, seeking that next area of support. So right now could lead to a bit more weakness, especially if that strong morning high remains intact. If we take a look at the NQ, similar price action here. This one had a very strong rejection. We talked about this in our trading room yesterday afternoon. Watch the previous month's close, the previous quarter's close, and the previous week's close. Watch those levels. They're all one and the same. Today, any pullback could provide an opportunity for bears to defend. Bulls had been defending here and here. We've seen price go offered. Now a retest here could lead us to new lows up ahead. Again, a strong intraday high, especially in the hourly time frame, right off the previous week's close, and that could lead to new lows for the week. That means attacking the previous session's lows, 15,111.5, and perhaps a bit more downside ahead. Again, overall, this market has been very, very bullish in the NQ, so fading it or fading into strength hasn't been the best idea overall. Any pullback into this zone could provide the next buy back up as it remains range bound here. A failure here at 14.8 opens up the next zone down below. All right, let's take a look here at crude oil. Right now, crude oil down about 1/3 of 1%. The previous session, we saw a pretty significant failed new high right shy of the 72.50 level. Price dropped significantly, and then intraday, midday, a strong V bottom and a strong reversal back toward highs. Here today, a little bit of a failed new high, digestive day, but still trending up here. Still trending up, despite the fact that this market hasn't been able to hang on to this strength. We've seen this market kind of hang on and has actually shaken off some weakness. For example, shaking off the weakness here, shaking off the weakness yesterday morning, and continuing to remain near these highs. So again, 67, the key area of support. At some point, we could begin to see this thing dump for a retest, as we've seen multiple times here recently. And even if we do push to that 72.50, we have 75 up above as the next key resistance level. All right, taking a look lastly, or rather the next level here, this is 1940 to 1950 in gold. This is the zone that we talked about yesterday. And actually to begin the week here, heading into last week, we mentioned last week here on this low, while we could see a 1 or 2 or 3 day bounce, that bounce could take us into the lower value relationship next month, and that could be an opportunity for bears to defend and push to new lows. So far today, a strong pivot high again on the NFP report. You see this thing trending downward. Look at the response so far. These tails developing inside the bearish Pima trigger zone here. You can also see how bears are defending prices above the previous quarter's close, previous month's close, etc. And then here today, a little bit of a failed new high developing above the previous session's highs, and now back to the previous session's mid. So everything's building here for what could be a pretty significant continuation to the downside. Not yet ready to go, and you can see that it's been several days within the narrow range, and we could even bring it back beyond that. So we have at least a narrow 5, maybe even a narrow 10-day range that's developing, and very soon we could see that energy released. If it's to the downside here, easily looking at an 1886 target down below, in which case perhaps we could see some reaction and a bounce back. A failure at 1886, and you continue this thing even lower up ahead. So looking for a downside continuation up ahead. Keeping an eye on that 1945 at some point down the road. Say we come down here and find a strong rejection. That lower low rejection could lead us right back to this prior pivot high, and then a break through that high could open up the next wave of strength into 2000 above. So keeping an eye on that pivot high, but still trending down for now. Lastly, taking a look at the YM. This one's down 1/3 of 1% as well. Narrow range here so far. Downtrending market. So far, this high is a strong intraday high. Not quite as strong as what we're seeing here in the ES, the NQ, or even gold, but decent enough, and currently on the lows of the day. Inside range at the moment, and trading just above 1/3 of average on the ADR here, so still very narrow with more range to go. The 34,155 level is very important. That's this level right here, 34,155, the FOMC key level right there. If price can push back above that zone, you start to open up a bit of upside ahead. But as of right now, coming down from the upper portion of this range, we could be looking for these recent lows, which would open up a big test here up ahead at the previous week's lows. That's coming in to view at 33,850. So can this market go find 33,850 up ahead? Perhaps. Right now, a bit of range-bound price action, a little bit of a downtrending price action as well, which means bears will be looking to defend any bounce for a continuation toward the previous week's lows. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well. Happy Friday. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the trading room. Take care.